world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Friday, March 7th, 2025. This is The Drop. I'm Jay Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Heyo!
Heyo! Over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. And last but not least, he's wearing a toilet hat while sitting on the toilet for the final time this week. It's Tass Mellis.
What's up, fellas?
What do you have on your lap?
Oh, it's cold in here. I've been in here all week, so I've got a blanket.
I've never seen someone sit on the toilet with a blanket. This is a first.
There's a lot of firsts on this show, Skeets. Have you ever watched a basketball show with a man on a toilet?
No.
That's a great point.
No.
Yeah. I just thought I'd match our wardrobes. My blanket kind of matches your shirts.
Yeah, Trey and I look like
loud.
we're going hunting here for sure. Hitting the Great Wolf Lodge later today.
Touched under 40 degrees for like a split second. We're like, oh, bundle up, boys.
Start the bonfire, boys.
This guy's legs.
All right, so yeah, Tass is, for the final time, paying off his February pick'em loss by sitting on the can, wearing a toilet hat, and talking hoops with the fellas.
Saw somebody say he was a sandwich. Toilet on top, toilet on bottom, Tass right in the middle.
That's the weirdest Oreo I've ever seen.
I ain't ordering that.
No, thank you. If you're joining us live on YouTube, hit the like button. Hit the like button for Tass, paying this off all week. Hit the like button for JD for making this magic happen. And obviously subscribe, share the show, podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews, because you might find yourself on the next 5-star Friday, because you got a few reviews coming up later on the drop here. We also have some fun looking at some Western Conference over-under predictions that we did back in the preseason. Let's see how the boys are doing. Quick little check-in. If we like that, we'll do the Eastern Conference next week. But we got to start with some of the great games last night, and we had LeBron, we had Luka propelling the Lakers to the 113-109 overtime victory over the Knicks. That's 8 straight for the Lakers. They're rolling. Big takeaway from this game, Jalen Brunson twisting his ankle late in overtime. He goes down. We're waiting to find out how severe it is. Hopefully it's just, a sort of generic, if you want to call that, ankle sprain. We don't want like a grade 3 sprain. But your thoughts on the Lakers getting the victory over the Knicks?
I thought Jovan Buha made a great point over that at The Athletic. This is the first time that the Luka Doncic-led Lakers have really faced adversity against a good team. Down in the second half, down late in the fourth quarter, 8-point game with 6 minutes left, and Luka Doncic just went into playmaking mode. Found Gabe Vincent in the corner for a three, couple of times down, finds Jackson Hayes for an alley-oop, and then finds LeBron in the corner for a three once again. Those two guys, Hayes and Lisan Al-Gabe, were incredible in the fourth quarter and overtime for this team. You heard Luka and LeBron both saying, we don't win that game without those guys, and they were both awesome. Vincent went 3 for 3 from 3 in the fourth quarter. Jackson Hayes had a couple assists in the fourth quarter, added another one in overtime, and then made the two dagger free throws, whatever you want to call it. Two big free throws, just kind of hanging in the leg, got the little dish, got fouled, made them both, was making really great decisions in the short roll, and if it was an actual alley-oop, he's going to finish that because, he's a big old tall dude. On the other side, it was just Jalen Brunson. There was nothing else going on for the Knicks. It's like they've got a nice starting five, they got a lot of space out there, and it's just Tom Thibodeau dialing up ISO after ISO after ISO, and it was working for a while. Brunson was keeping him in it, hitting a bunch of big shots. Then, like you said, rolls his ankle, and then what's supposed to happen for the Knicks at that point? Because for whatever reason, it turned into Deuce McBride being the Jalen Brunson, and he ain't quite Jalen Brunson, but that's still the way they were playing. I thought this was nice for the Lakers to not play a very good game, but come through with a major fourth quarter performance, and then they were pretty great in overtime, I thought, as well.
Tassie, what do you think?
That was a physical game. I thought so much physicality going on. So we got the rivalry we wanted. Luka Doncic versus referee Tyler Ford. Those guys are going at it. Luka not happy with referee Tyler Ford. As we've seen him before, he got a tech for it, was arguing the whole way. But I also just thought the Knicks' defensive presence was great. Cat got 2 fouls early. That brought Mitchell Robinson off the bench, and I think that kind of helped him. That was a little blessing in disguise. Mitchell Robinson didn't play a lot of minutes, but I think it got the Knicks into their MO. I thought Mikal Bridges was phenomenal. OG Anunoby was absolutely phenomenal on both ends. He was marvelous to get this team an 8-point lead going to the fourth. And as Trey mentioned, it was an 8-point lead midway through the fourth. And then you can watch what's miraculous is LeBron James as a secondary playmaker, literally just sitting and watching Luka Doncic perform. We've never had to see that in his career. He's never got to play with such a great player in his career, but he's just standing there watching Luka perform, passing to Big Gabe, who had 2 monstrous threes in the last 3 minutes there. And then we get into overtime, unfortunately, because, listen, the Knicks, as much praise as I'm giving for their defense, because they were really showing Luka so many sets of eyes, and that is exactly what they got Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby for, mainly to go up against Tatum and Brown. But this is perfect. They didn't know that Luka was going to the Lakers when they acquired him, but this is the perfect defensive setup for Luka. They were giving him so many eyes, and that's why Luka was getting so angry. But then on the offensive end, just no threes from real great three-point shooters. Cat was 1 for 6 from 3. Brunson was 1 for 7 from 3. Payne was 1 for 6 from 3, and McBride was 0 for, and that really hurt them. And we got to a point there where, even though it was fun watching Jackson Hayes guard Josh Hart, it was a smart move by JJ Redick. In the end, the Knicks just didn't have enough offensive guys, as Trey said, around Jalen Brunson, who, talk about physicality, that dude is tough as nails. When he went down with that injury, the trainer was out there addressing that ankle. It looked like he was literally pulling on his foot, and Jalen Brunson threw up the stop sign. No, don't touch it. I'm fine. And he wanted to walk it off, and he tried to walk it off as much as possible. He shot those free throws and had to leave the game. Yeah. So it was unfortunate. They really didn't have anywhere to go after that.
Yeah, look, Cat disappeared in this game down the stretch.
Yes.
That happens. He had a rough game.
Well, Luka found him.
Yeah, that's true.
Luka found him for a couple of jumpers right in his face and was screaming at him like he was Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I meant offensively, but that's a good point. And then Mikal Bridges, for all the credit you want to give his defense, he's got to give you more than 6 points. I mean, you traded the farm in terms of draft capital for this guy, and he had a very, very quiet game offensively. OG was the one that was sort of picking up the slack. But then a couple weeks ago, remember, OG couldn't hit a shot, or he was disappearing offensively, and now it feels like it's like twisted and turned into Bridges more so, and maybe even Cat. So like they all got to get on the same page. I do wonder, TK, it's going to sound a little insane. We'll wait to find out how severe the ankle injury is. I assume he misses sometime, a game, 2, maybe a week. You hope it's that's sort of it for Knicks fans. Could it be a blessing in disguise to try and get some other guys some more responsibility moving forward, and then you get Jalen Brunson back? Because you're right, it's like the JB show at times here, which can get you to victory, but you're asking a lot from the smallest guy on the floor.
You are, but that's literally been Tom Thibodeau's offense dating back to the Chicago days. Yeah. Who else was doing it for the Bulls? It was all Derrick Rose, and sometimes Carlos Boozer would hit a 15-footer, yell and one if he was inside. But I'm not very confident that things will change, because in this game, they just started doing Jalen Brunson stuff with Deuce McBride. And it just doesn't make sense, but you're right. It would be good to empower Towns, to see if you can get Bridges playing at the level he played, if not necessarily his Phoenix days when he was looking like the perfect number 2, number 3 kind of guy, maybe at least the Brooklyn days where he can kind of scale up a little bit. But they need some more from those guys. Towns came off missing a game for personal reasons. Mm-hmm. The Knicks have been really good offensively this year. They are top 5 offense, so they're still able to score, but Brunson is the straw that stirs the drink. And without him there, I don't know that Thibs is suddenly going to become Doug Collins reaching into the playbook, you know?
Yeah, the Knicks have 4 more games on this road trip, and they're only up 3.5 games on the Bucks, who are in the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. The Bucks have 3 more losses currently, so that doesn't bode well for the Knicks. The Bucks could catch the New York Knicks. I do want to say, though, I mean, you guys are saying that Cat disappeared. I wouldn't say that. I mean, he did fight a lot in this game. I thought at first there's too many threes coming from him, when the Lakers' weakness is their big man. And their big man, again, as I said, was guarding Josh Hart. Jackson Hayes was just guarding Josh Hart so he could stay in the lane. Now, Cat had 6 3-point attempts of 13 shots. Sounds like too many when you only have 7 twos, when really that's your strength. But he did get to the free throw line 7 times. And he was fighting for rebounds, and he did go to the bench because of the foul trouble, which happens with Cat, obviously. And so I think that took him out of his flow a little bit. But he was scrapping, and he scrapped LeBron so hard that he knocked LeBron into the front row, and that hurt them. Obviously, that foul call late that Tyler Ford made for the Lakers in this turn, I thought it was a well-officiated game. I got to be honest. But yes, as far as the New York Knicks go, yeah, Jalen Brunson has been that guy. Tom Thibodeau has been that guy. So we do need more Mikal Bridges getting into the middle. Now he hit one of those shots. Those were the prime Nets days of Mikal Bridges, getting into the lane, into the mid-range, and hitting one of those shots. So yeah, they're going to be desperate. There's no doubt. It's funny because I think the Lakers are going to be desperate here. We were watching LeBron and Luka Doncic, along with now Austin Reeves, who came back. Usually it's Rui and Jackson Hayes just scramble and fight on the defensive end. And we all had this series and a half, the 1.5 series victories as the over-under line for the playoffs, and I think we're in a prime spot. We're going to have a fight in the second round to see if it goes over or under, because right now they're matched up, if everybody advances to the second round, with the Denver Nuggets, who has home series in that, or home advantage in that series. Still up for debate, but it's going to be fun. I just wonder how much they can continue to scramble with these old dudes, mainly LeBron, and these other guys around them. Now, they're doing a great job, but I mean, I think we're just going to have a along with 5 back-to-backs that the Lakers have the rest of the way. That's tough, I think. So we're going to be watching the Lakers have to scramble a lot here.
They did a great job at the end of regulation, scrambling.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of those plays defensively, and was a reason why Josh Hart, who hit the shot at the end, was too late. It was pretty blatantly too late, but man, they were working their ass defensively.
They were.
Big
to
time.
try and prevent a shot up. Just to speak on Cat, I'm with you, Tass. He competes. He played hard last night. I get all that. You know, Luka hit a couple shots in his eye. Sure, what are you going to do? You're going to join the club, really. But he also had 2 shot attempts in 15 minutes of the fourth quarter and overtime. He got to the free throw line once within those 15 minutes. That's just not enough. So it's not even that's not even on him, really. That goes to sort of what they're running and getting him involved a little bit more. 2 shots? I mean, he hit the one in the fourth quarter, hit some free throws, and then only 1 shot in overtime? That's what I meant by the disappearing act.
That's fair.
And again, it's not new. We've seen it before. So that's something to watch, and maybe it changes a little bit if Brunson misses some games here. Really entertaining. Super entertaining.
Just last question, because the Lakers came back from that 8-point deficit. They were fighting extremely hard. And I just wanted to know about what J.J. Redick was referring to when he had his end of third quarter interview when he was coaching a team that was down 8 and basically said, you know, we haven't had to ask these guys to play hard for 2 months. We haven't had to ask these guys to play hard for 2 months. I didn't know what that meant exactly.
Isn't he just saying these guys are taking it upon themselves to turn our season around and play really hard? Because that's what JJ's been saying, in the press the entire time. Our superpower is we're playing hard right now.
So, yeah, we haven't done that since. But he said we haven't had to ask them.
Yeah, they're doing it on their own. Proactive.
Yeah, he personally.
I think it's a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a compliment. It was a compliment. I just wanted to know. 'Cause we're going back to the beginning of the year. So the first, okay, he's saying they fought hard since the 2-month period started.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that he, as the coaching staff, that's something they don't have to focus on because they generally, the players bring at least the intensity.
They brought it.
Yeah.
They brought it. And this was their first game of adversity, as you said, Trey, where they weren't playing extremely well and they made up a big deficit.
Yeah, it helps when you add Luka Doncic to your team.
Nico Harrison.
Yeah, we kind of glossed over the fact that LeBron and Luka had 60 combined points and 20 combined assists. That's amazing. LeBron is the second guy on this team right now, and he's loving it. So, yeah, I mean, they're not an old team at all. LeBron's old. Dorian Finney-Smith is 31. I think everybody else is 25 and under. Mm-hmm. They're locked in right now. That was a loud arena. I mean, it was loud for the Knicks, too. Every time they scored, people were going crazy.
Awesome atmosphere.
Yeah. When I said old about this team having to go forward, yes, LeBron is definitely somebody I'm referring to as a guy who has to scramble a lot. But I was the one who said that this defense was not going to be great. I was obviously wrong here, but I just wanted to go on forward. Luka with a banged-up body, having to carry the perimeter defense along with LeBron, I think is a fair question because we saw last year it was Luka and Kyrie that managed to get it done and got to the finals with Derek Jones Jr. beside him, PJ Washington, and Gafford/Lively at center. I just wonder this combo of Austin Reeves, Rui, and Jackson Hayes, along with these older, I'm throwing in quotes, but it feels they're older. I guess that's what Nico Harrison was thinking. This guy is banged up and old. Got to get rid of this 25-year-old. I don't know what he was thinking. Nobody on this earth knows what he was thinking. It was for money. But either way, it's going to be a fun last 6 weeks and then into the playoffs. It just feels like that's a long time for a 40-year-old. It's dumb to say because this guy doesn't feel like a 40-year-old. He's playing like he's 30, really.
He's better at 40 than he was at 39.
Yeah.
Right. He turned 40. He's been awesome. And honestly, like the way the Mavericks played the second half of the season has to give you a little bit of optimism for Luka Doncic. Like he was on a good defensive team. He was the worst defender out there, but their team was awesome defensively.
Yeah.
Rode that to the finals.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening with the Lakers right now. Can they go to the finals? It's a tougher task, I think, for the Lakers than it probably was for the Mavericks last year after the Nuggets got bounced. But that's why we'll see what happens in the playoffs. Who actually are the Lakers going to run into?
Let's talk about another old guy still bringing it. Steph Curry, still good. Not as old as LeBron, but he's old in terms of basketball. And he scored 40 points as the Warriors finished a 4-1 trip with the 121-119 victory over the Nets. And he had some spectacular shots in this one. That one at the end of the first half, unbelievable, where he's like double or triple teamed at half court and he hits the turnaround and he knew it was in as soon as it left his hand and he's running to the tunnel. This guy was looking at the crowd, dancing, celebrating. It felt like after every shot last night.
Yes.
And again, a 40 burger from Curry here on the road.
This guy loves to put on a show. Goes to Brooklyn once and shows up and puts on an absolute clinic. I wonder what the Warriors' record is when Steph Curry makes a half-court shot at the end of the half, because it feels like they've got to be undefeated. You're right, that one that he hit last night, it was like a turnaround from the post that like Kobe Bryant would hit over a double team, but it was from 40 feet. That was amazing. He also had a layup like when he won the unanimous MVP. Middle of the fourth quarter, he splits a double team. Somehow another double team is there, splits that double team, goes around Claxton, finishes with the reverse over a 7-footer. That was incredible. He hit the night-night after an inbounds play. The Nets just ran away from Steph Curry.
Left Steph Curry.
That was a crazy one. They're like, we got to go double out here. Curry, go hit it from the corner. He knocks it down. I guess this is probably the closest that the Warriors have come to losing a Steph Curry night-night game, because that put them up by like 10, I think.
Yeah.
And the Nets got it close there in the end. But great stuff from Steph. Great stuff from Jimmy Butler as well, 25 points, the most he's scored since being a Warrior. And the Draymond to Jimmy Butler high-low, this is a real weapon for this team. Draymond drags the big guy out. You got a guard on Jimmy Butler, and he's too big, too strong, just throws it over the top. They got it 3 times, the high-low, simple lob in there. And then they had one more Draymond drew up to the hoop and threw an alley-oop as well. So that seems to be working for them.
Yeah, it's that is working incredibly well. Jimmy had a great game. It's one of his best games with the Warriors, 25 points, and they have an unbelievable record when he plays, Tess.
Yeah, that's a great play, and that high-low pass. I imagine other coaches in a playoff series will say, "No, don't switch that. I mean, get out, get that big man underneath to Jimmy. Switch that, not switch that. Switch that. So the big man goes to Jimmy and allow Draymond to have lots of space.
Yeah, let him shoot.
Let him go.
Yeah.
Let him go. That's got to be the lineup. I think this is Steph Curry's best stretch of his career in the regular season. Now, I didn't go look at the numbers, but this has got to be.
Since Jimmy's been there, these are like his unanimous MVP season. They're very similar.
MVP. That was a great season.
Yeah.
Yes, he did win unanimous MVP, but as far as the best stretch, the most he's just said, I am the superstar, the most individual, carry the team type of stretch, it feels that way. Now, maybe I'm just living in the moment, but it doesn't feel like those stretches had a 56 Steph Curry and then this ridiculous game here. I just feel like they're relying so much on Steph. I don't think we've ever seen that. We saw it in the Olympics. We don't really see that, going back to the days where he had incredible shooters around him, or KD. I mean, it just feels like the super duper Steph's performance that is getting a record number of seats sold at the Barclays Center. They had a record attendance at the Barclays Center. I read that from the Associated Press, and I thought, what? Yeah. In 24-25, the most seats filled, numbers-wise. I was kind of surprised, but that's for Steph. It is absolutely for Steph.
Listen to this. The Warriors' latest East Coast the Warriors' latest East Coast road trip. Steph Curry averaged 35 points per game, 8 assists. He shot 55% from the field, 52% from deep. He scored the 56 points in Orlando off 12 threes. He dunked for the first time since 2019 in Philly. That was a loss. He played in front of his pops in Charlotte once again. He had Madison Square Garden going nuts, absolutely rocking the other night. And then, like you said, Tass, he attracted the largest crowd ever for a basketball game at the Barclays Center, where he put on such a damn show that the crowd is chanting MVP at the end of the game. Yeah, this guy's the Beatles right now, man. Like, you got to go see him. Like, while he's here. It's
right now. I mean, literally, he's been the face of the league for 10 years. And that's the thing. It's like, is this the best stretch of his career? Who knows? Because he was awesome from 2014 to 2016 before Kevin Durant showed up. He was doing this every single night. But the thing is that he wasn't doing this every single night until Jimmy Butler got there. And he's like, wait a second, I can snap back into it right away. Yes. He knows this team has a chance to advance and make some noise in the playoffs. And that's why Steph is able to throw it back right now. There were questions at the time of the trade deadline like, okay, so we bring in Jimmy Butler. Does that really change anything? Steph's still a top 10 player, but he's not a top 5 player. He can be a top 1 player any single night. And I think that has been as much of a benefit to the Warriors as just bringing in Jimmy. Because if Steph was playing the way he played the first 2/3 of the season, they would still be good. But the fact that he's able to throw it back to MVP levels is what's making them a dangerous team.
Yep, so LeBron and Curry, they still got it as they lead their team to victory.
The faces of the league lead our show here in 2025. Weird.
It's true. Any other takeaways from last night's action? We had Trae Young having a great game. Hawks got the win. Over the Pacers. Tatum had 35. Shorthanded Celtics. They beat the Sixers. Coby White scored a career-high 44 points. Bulls get the victory over the Magic, and then the Rockets took over after halftime. They beat the Pelicans. Did you want to talk about your guy Coby White there?
Yeah, just for a second. 7 threes, opened up the lane for a bunch of really strong drives. He hit his career high on a dunk over Paolo Banchero, caught him on a switch and was just a little bit too slow. Talked about the Bulls a lot. It doesn't matter. Win or lose, they're going to finish in the 10th seed. But Orlando is struggling. They've lost their last 3 games to the Raptors by 2, to the Raptors by 1, and to the Bulls by 2. All of those are at home. In fact, they've lost 5 straight. All home games right now. They scored 2 points in the last 4 minutes of this game against the Bulls. No Vucevic out there. Both Bulls centers had fouled out at that point. Zach Collins and Jalen Smith, if you care. You don't. So it was like literally Julian Phillips and Modest Buzelis were playing center for the Bulls, and the Magic could not score. You throw in the fact that the Hawks won, and now Orlando is down to 9th in the Eastern Conference. At the start of the year, January 1st, they were 20-15, 4th in the Eastern Conference. I know Jalen Suggs is out, but there are going to be a lot of questions to be answered for this Magic team in the summer. I think from a coaching standpoint, like Jamal Mosley's got these guys bought in. They are a great defensive team. This may be the limit for a Jamal Mosley-led Magic team. The personnel is also just not good. Like Jalen Suggs, if he comes back, he's not changing things, I don't think, that much for a Magic team when it really matters. This has been a really disappointing 2025 for them.
I could not help but think of you, Trey, in seeing the highlights from this game, because I didn't watch the entire 48 minutes, of you saying around the deadline, Orlando Magic should be a team looking to try and go get Coby White or someone of that nature. Obviously an explosive scorer they could really use. But you have any thoughts on that one, Tass, or any of the other games?
Yeah, it's great points about the Magic, how much they've gone down. It's a roller coaster. It felt so good when Jalen Suggs was there. They felt like the entire team was there, but now it just Suggs. And Paolo Banchero, he's an inside out type of size, but he's an outside in type of player. And these are the moments where you kind of just need him inside, and that's it, because you don't have a guard to create. They need to find something like that. But he's looked at himself as a perimeter type of player, and he's great at that. But it is so odd to see that talented of a player, along with Franz, again, who's the same type of player, not to be able to produce anything. So it is odd that I would rather have the Atlanta Hawks if I'm betting on someone in a play-in tournament game. It's the Hawks over this Orlando Magic team.
They're
which
definitely playing better.
Yeah.
They're
Would
not
not
even a
have said
question.
that a couple
no,
months ago.
it's not a question at all.
Trae Young was awesome last night.
Yeah, he's got his son saying buckets. His Titus, his little son.
Hanging out with Lee Ellis.
Yeah, because he says buckets. Yeah. Well, Trae said, "What are you gonna say when I shoot?" And he whispered in his ear. So I guess you got to repeat what your dad says in post game. He says buckets. Yeah, he's great at. Obviously, the Hawks are peaking at the right time.
22 points, 16 assists for Trae last night.
Yeah.
Indiana's guards could not stay attached to Trae Young. Halliburton didn't play. I think he was kind of a late scratch, so maybe that threw things into disarray. But every time they would go into pick and roll, either Indiana would give up the switch too easily, or they would try and play Trae over the top, and Miles Turner was giving him so much space. They'd sometimes trap, and Trae was just too fast for him. Just run around the double team, put Indiana into rotation. You got to give a little credit to Okongwu. I thought he was setting good screens, finishing really tough inside. And then these guys, these random dudes, the Hawks got back in the Bogdanovich trade and the DeAndre Hunter trade. George Niang had 24 points and 4 threes last night. Terrence Mann had 12 points off the bench. Karis LeVert only scored 8. But since coming to the Hawks, those three are averaging 39 points per game off the bench. They've instantly replaced DeAndre Hunter and are outplaying Bogdanovich right now. And that's why the Hawks have been pretty decent recently.
They have depth.
Still waiting to see George Niang on the Beltline here.
I can't wait to see him. I think
wait.
his new nickname's going to be the Bird Scooter.
Oh, that's instead of the minivan.
Yeah,
You're gonna
still slow, but you can see it out there on the Beltline.
Yeah, they even crank those the settings down on those on the Beltline.
Yeah.
Right?
You got to watch out for dogs on leashes, buddy.
Hell yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And bikers, honestly. Some psycho bikers, on just whatever, mountain bikes or road racing bikes.
Yeah.
Too fast on the Beltline. There's too
Absolutely.
many people, too many dogs, too many kids.
I saw a
too many
guy with a
scooters.
monkey once. There's occasionally there would be a guy with a parrot on his shoulder on the Beltline.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that guy.
Yeah.
A parrot guy?
Yeah.
A lot of rollerbladers. There's a famous guy that's always singing, he's belting pop songs. He's fun. He always says hi to you. There's also there used to be a woman that always would walk and play the flute.
Oh.
Just walk back and forth. I used to see her all the time. I haven't seen her in a long time, but yeah.
Is that after the album?
The Andre 3000.
Yeah, maybe.
Inspired?
Way before her. Yeah, I think he was inspired by her. He probably saw her on the Beltline.
She's good.
Yeah, I should do that.
Tales from the Beltline. I love it.
All right, let's do something fun here. I wanted to do a little Western Conference over-under review. How the boys doing, or how did the boys do? So I went back to our season preview podcasts, and I re-listened yesterday to our over-under picks for the Western Conference. Again, if you like this, we'll do the East next week. Maybe on the drop, maybe earlier. But I wanted to see how we did on all the over-under picks that we all agreed on.
Okay.
I thought that was the fascinating part. So there were 7 teams in the Western Conference that all 3 of us agreed were either going to hit their over or hit their under. Unsurprisingly, we nailed some of them.
Okay.
We will likely win a few of the other ones, and we've already lost some. So I want to tackle them in order of, whoops, my bad, to cha-ching. Okay, so we'll start with our worst consensus over-under picks in the West. First one, Blazers. 22.5 was their over-under. They're currently 28-35.
Okay.
They smashed the over. Hell of a season from Billups and the Blazers. We all had the under. We all ultimately went that way. Tass, you called them you went under, but you said they're going to be a beautiful mess, was your quote. And, you and I were thinking there just has to be some bad teams in this conference.
Yeah.
And we thought they would be one of them. We just thought they'd be one of the worst, obviously. And they're not. They're a little bit better than some of these worst teams.
I also thought they would trade guys at the trade deadline. They didn't do it, and it's not like they're winning games because they didn't trade those guys. It's all the young guys are playing
That's
well
right.
now. Yeah.
That's right. So that's
a whiff.
So that's our worst one, because that one we just already got wrong. This one we are very likely getting wrong unless the Phoenix Suns can do the impossible and win 20 straight games to end the season. Suns were 47.5, Tass. They are currently 29-33. So they got 20 games left to win 19 to hit the over. And we all had that over, Tass.
We all did.
We all did. We all got there in the end. Trey was
I may have locked it.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Blessings.
You were a Bud Ball believer, though, you said.
I was a Bud Ball believer. You got to learn things. And one thing I've learned from this season is that the Olympics don't matter when it comes to the regular season. Because I saw Devin Booker being the best blue guy out there. I saw Kevin Durant in takeover mode. And it do not matter once we get into the NBA. Paris threw me for a loop.
Yeah, so Tass, that one, again, we're wrong. We're wrong on that one. They're not hitting the over. I feel very confident in saying that.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you're correct.
Was there any talk of Yusuf Nurkic shooting three-pointers?
Oh, I must have talked about it.
Tass definitely brought up Nurkic. A lot of Tyus Jones talk.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, you know.
What a great signing, great value signing.
Yeah, but I'll give you credit. You were like, Tyus Jones and Nurkic, are you kidding me? Like, they're not going to be difference makers. So you had
I always
that
thought
part.
those guys sucked. Why'd I go over then?
I don't know.
Well, how many wins did they have last season?
They had a lot. They had a
They were
surprising
like
amount.
46 wins maybe last year?
Yeah, maybe 40. Yeah,
They were decent.
they were good.
Yeah.
So that was our thinking. We're like, oh, it was like they're going to be healthier was a big part of the equation too. But
49 wins they had
Yeah,
last
man.
season. That's all.
Yeah.
they are garbage.
wins.
They are one of the most disappointing teams in the league by far, and they have the highest payroll.
So they fired Frank Vogel
Yeah,
for Bud.
yeah.
Yeah,
then
that really helped.
Yeah. And they made a bunch of moves around the aprons, but
Yeah.
nothing mattered. Okay, next one here. Clippers. Over underline was 40.5. I think this was one that wasn't on BetMGM and we had to get from some of the other books, if I
think you're
remember
right.
correctly, because it was like, is Kawhi going to play? Is he not going to play? We all took the under on this one. Tass did his classic Tass thing where all your points made it seem like you were going to go with the over, like you were pointing out the new stadium bump. You brought up like the schedule, like now they don't have to share it with the Lakers and those afternoon games. They'll win those. I thought it was a great point. And then you were like, the Clippers have won 13 straight seasons. Like they're always over 500. But then you went under. So we all went under with you though. So I'm not just making fun of you. And right now they're 33-29. So that's 20 games left, and they only have to win 8. So it's not a done deal.
Right.
I think they'll
They're
hit
struggling a little bit right now, too.
Tass, do you think they'll hit the over? You think they hit 41 plus?
I do.
Okay, but just
I think Norm enters the bar again and starts to play ball again, because Norm is a big factor for this team. But
Yes.
how can you bet against this team? James Harden seems to be peaking, and Kawhi is still playing basketball, so they're not banged up. They just need the right guys in there.
Yeah, and one takeaway from rewatching this, a lot of these teams, we weren't like Clippers hit the under 40.5, like making it sound like they won't win 30 games. A lot of these. We kept repeating ourselves like, oh my God, Vegas is good at this.
Yeah.
It's going to be one game either under, one game either over. Like it's going to be these tight windows for a lot of these teams. So this was one of them where we were like just under. And they might, but they probably won't. They'll probably hit the over. Okay, let's get to some ones that we're likely going to hit here. The Warriors, 43.5. Very low line, you might remember. We were like a little shocked by that. They're currently 35-28 after last night's win, so that's 19 games left to win 9, and we all took the over.
Nice.
Tass, you were sort of the most confident in the over. You and I were just overs. So way to go, Tass. It looks like you're going to get this one. We're all going to get this one.
It's the annual thing for me when it comes to over-unders, where I say over for the Golden State Warriors, and every single fan out there calls me a Warrior lover and gets extremely mad at me. Why do you have so much faith in this team? Well, there he is. He's wearing number 30, and he can score 58 points anytime. Okay, it's 56, but whatever. He can score anything. And so, yeah, it's hard not to go with the Warriors.
But a funny season when you think about it, right? They started
very
red
funny.
hot, and then you're like, well, they're definitely hitting the over. Then they could not win to save their lives, and suddenly you're going, oh, I don't know. Are they going to hit 44 wins? Then they make the Jimmy Butler trade, and now it's like they're going to probably hit the over.
You never know what's going to happen at the trade deadline.
Oh, man.
I don't think I'm sure we didn't talk about Jimmy Butler being traded, period. I'm pretty sure I had the Heat as a lock for our Eastern Conference ones when we get to it. I remember thinking Jimmy Butler's going to have a bounce back season. He had normal hair at media day.
In the Western Conference talk, Jimmy Butler's name came up when we talked about the Rockets potentially consolidating a bunch of guys and making a trade, and we threw out the names Devin Booker and Jimmy Butler as potential names that they would look at. So, but we all had the over for the Warriors, and again, we're probably going to hit that one. I think the Warriors will They'll win 9 of their last 19 games, probably. All right, next one here. Kings, 46.5. Currently 32-29. So that's 21 games left, and they got to win a lot. They'd have to win 15 of their final 21 to hit the over, which is why I'm proud to say we all took the under. Tass under, Trey under, me just under. Though we all thought they would have a similar record to sort of the season prior, and they'll be happy if they're even sniffing that at this point.
Yeah, I think I had them tabbed at 45 wins. Seems pretty unlikely at this point. They're just an inconsistent team to be able to string together. You probably have to have a 10-game win streak at this point to hit the over. Likely not going to happen.
And you've always been the backer of the Sacramento Kings, Skeet, so is that why you went just under?
I think so. I actually surprised myself in rewatching this. I was like, I'm going to say over. I'm going to say over. Oh, here we go, you dummy. And I did it. I said just under. That's exactly right, Tass. I was like, nope. Because we thought they would be similar to what they did the season prior, but just like a game or two. And they had a disappointing season, though they're going to be in the play-in and fighting for the playoffs. I guess that's good. All right, the Jazz, 29.5. Currently 15-47. Yeah, 20 games left. They got to win 15 of those games. They're not doing that, people, right? So we hit the under.
Yeah.
And we had a couple locks. We had a couple locks from the boys on this one. Trey and myself, we locked in the Jazz under. And a lot of it was they want to be bad. They're going to play their young guys. Roll the dice for a chance at Cooper Flagg or a really good draft pick. And that's probably the right move.
Yep.
So
yeah, this one, thinking back on it, seemed like an easy one because you're like, they should tank for this season. They don't have the franchise cornerstone, even though they've been basically bad for 3 straight seasons, or I guess a couple of straight seasons. This will be the 3rd one after Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert trades. But they're making it even easier on us now by the lineups they're throwing out there late in the season as things get, down to the nitty-gritty on the tankathon standings. They'll play anybody.
Yeah, and the concern task with the Jazz, as it had been a couple seasons prior, was like, well, they might start hot or start decent, and then around the All-Star break, somebody's hurt. Oh, let's play these guys now more and lean into that, because we had seen that a couple times from them. But, they didn't get off to a great start, and they're going to easily hit the under.
Yeah, and some underperformances from a lot of guys. I don't want to just put it on Jordan Clarkson, but Jordan Clarkson looks like a different player. He doesn't look like anywhere close to how good a player he was. And that's a guy who would give you a 20 spot and win you 5 games if he's leading it properly. So yeah, they look like a different team. It was a Will Hardy one to call, I'd say. Not easy.
I would also throw Markkanen in as a disappointing season after signing the big deal a day after the deadline for when he could be traded, locking himself in there. He was 25 a game his first season in Utah in 2023. Last year, 23 points per game. This year, only 19 points per game. His percentages have all fallen off.
Wow.
This guy is gone in the summer.
Wow, he's under 20 points per game.
And he's basically shut down for the season at this point.
Yeah.
He hasn't made an impact at all.
Will Hardy went and visited him in Finland in the summer. I can't believe that he's only averaging that. Those percentages are extremely low.
So you're surprised a coach traveled all that distance to watch him and he doesn't back it up, is what you're saying? He owes up.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Miles.
say he watched them. They were supposed to connect, man. They were supposed to Dalton connect out there. I can't stop the puns, but it wasn't so much about watching him play. They were supposed to be bros. Now the thing is with Lowry, there's injuries obviously this season with him too, but the team has just stunk around him. They don't know who they're playing at point guard. That being said, they played Talen Horton-Tucker last year, and things started to go okay. A very weird one that no one will ever remember outside of Utah fans that will just hate it, despise it, because they just stunk. Although Isaiah Collier looks all right.
He does.
Yeah,
he does look good. All right, final one for all the consensus picks, and it's a good one, guys. Oklahoma City Thunder. The line was 56.5 in the preseason. They're currently 51-11, so they have 20 games left to win 6. And we all hit the over. Trey, you locked it in. Tass, you locked it in. This was not a lock for me, but I went over. I was concerned that everybody was going over, and I was like, uh-oh, that's maybe trouble. It seems too easy, I said.
A little too
But
easy.
we all said, come on, look what they did last year. Now they add two pieces in Hartenstein and Caruso, like two sort of issues they had to this incredible lineup. Why wouldn't they win a whole bunch of games? And we thought they would be a team that wins over 60, maybe flirting with mid 60s. So good on us.
Yeah.
Didn't overthink it.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
Exactly. Didn't overthink it. They had a good season last year, and they've had a great season this year. They were the 1 seed last year, right? They just ran into a Mavericks team that was perfectly built to beat them.
Yes.
And Luka went crazy. PJ Washington caught fire from the
Couldn't
corners
miss.
as well. So the Thunder realized, hey, this is what went wrong for us. We'll fix it, and we'll be better.
Yep. All right. So those are the consensus ones. Not bad. I mean, I guess it looks like probably 4, maybe 5 of those 7 we might get right, but it could be 4 and 3. The other locks, I'll just share those with you. Tass, you had the Nuggets, as did I, over 51.5. This one's going to be close. They're 40
Very
and 22. 20 games left to win 12, I think is doable, but it could be a case where Trey is right because you had them just under. In fact, you had them marked for 51 wins.
Absolutely.
So I do have a feeling it's going to be 51 or 52 wins. So we'll see who's right on that one.
And they add one tonight. They're at home to Phoenix.
Tass is calling it. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, come on.
All right.
Come on.
Tass, you had the Grizzlies.
Ooh, this was not good.
No. Grizzlies under
I know.
47.5.
It's going to come close.
It's going to be very close. They're 38 and 24. 20 games left to win 10.
Whoever said these guys in Vegas are good, they're right.
Yeah, man. They're really good. Trey, you were just over.
Yeah.
And I was under, so I was with Tass on this side. So we'll see. This one's
Still a toss-up.
It's a TBD on that one. And then the final lock was mine, and it was the Spurs. Spurs line was 36.5. They're 26 and 34 right now. They have 22 games left to win 11. So they got to go 500 to hit the over. I took the under as one of my locks. I said they're going to win over 30 games, but they're not going to get to 37. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
Feeling good about that one. Tass, you had the over. You believed in Wemby now. And Trey, you just went under, and your whole reasoning was, this is the Spurs. They're in no rush to hit the gas right away. So it looks like you're going to be with me on that one. So
Yeah, did anybody mention Greg Popovich suffering a stroke and Victor Wembanyama getting a blood clot? These are two really
Yes, of
strange
course.
issues that have derailed the Spurs season for sure. We also didn't factor in that they would make a major move for De'Aaron Fox, which they did. But still, it's going to be right down to it on the actual over-under. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. So there you go. Obviously, some more teams where we disagreed. So some will be right, some will be wrong. And a lot of fun going back to listen to that. So if you enjoyed that, hit the like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments if you want us to do the Eastern Conference. Going back, listening to guys. We're all tanned looking a little bit coming off the summer.
Yeah,
We had the Classic Factory sign lit up.
We look good in October.
Oh, yeah.
We look really
Tass
good.
you had cool hair, man. I wanted to say that. Maybe it's because I haven't seen your hair all week because you've been wearing a toilet hat.
Well,
I mean, you generally have good hair, but it looked really good in the preseason.
well,
man.
that's very nice. I can't wait to. I already have my Friday viewing. I'm going to go back and watch my hair. No, but I do want to say, you mentioned that we were tanned. I'm very thankful to be wearing a toilet hat because we did have a sunny day last week here in Georgia. Half of my face was tanned because I was getting hit from one
driving.
side. No, I wasn't driving. It was just the sun was just in a particular side of where I was at a soccer field.
Oh.
And 50% of my forehead was super tanned. So I'm glad I'm wearing this toilet hat this week.
Well, it looks good, man.
It looks great. This toilet hat looks great.
All right. Well, yeah, that toilet hat's best of the week, but let's go to worst of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
3 great nominees. First nominee, you can't rub the basketball on your sweaty face. And that's exactly what Luka Doncic did. He's at the free throw line area. Free throws missed. He grabs the ball and just rubs it on his forehead over and over and over again. Passed it to the referee. She didn't want to touch it. I ain't touching that. She let it up, bounce off her. She asked for a towel and assessed the Lakers a delay of game warning for the trouble. Now, Luka was confused.
What?
LeBron was also confused. But I agree with Sheree Mitchell, the referee. You can't just take a ball and just rub your face on it.
I think I agree. I guess. I haven't really thought about it.
It was well done by the official there, I have to admit. Like, she saw it, and then he chucks it at her, he gives it to her. And I'm not touching that. It's disgusting. And I know what you're doing, and that's a delay of game. Fair enough, I think.
Yeah, it looked like she took a second to did you just rub your face on the ball? It's not a technical, but I'll give you a half tech. Because that was weird, man.
I showed this to Nora Tass, and she was livid. She the way she was talking about it, she wanted Luka Doncic suspended 25 games.
Toss him.
She's like, people do this? And I'm like, well, we've seen this before. Guys will grab the ball and maybe grab it and put it against their jersey to get it a little slick, get it a little sweaty. But I had to admit to Nora, I was like, I've never seen someone take it and rub it on their hairline, where you are generally the most sweaty if you're playing sports. So that was a first to me.
Yeah, it was a smart move by Luka because it's a Clippers free throw shooter there. Yeah. So, give him the wet ball.
I love the gamesmanship, but he just got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a delay of game, although Luka was very upset. LeBron, we cut it out of the clip, so you didn't see it here on YouTube, but he was upset.
Not the official.
Yeah. Not a Luka.
But I don't even think.
Don't do that.
I don't think LeBron even knew, did he? I bet he didn't see it.
Yeah, he said he was kind of shrugging, what just happened.
Yeah.
So, he may have not known. But he's got Luka's back. Maybe he's just showing I got Luka's back. Second nominee, I would call this best of the week instead of worst of the week. It was fantastic. It's referee Bill Kennedy. He's at the scorer's table explaining what happened to the coach's challenge. He's letting everybody know. Bless you. That wasn't Bill Kennedy. That was Trey Kirby.
I would love to see Bill Kennedy sneeze, though. At the scorer's table.
Probably got a nice sneeze.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Well, it was hilarious because we got something that isn't usually what Bill Kennedy does. He was making a call. Josh Hart, he said, pushed the John Morant out of bounds, so he's describing it, and so he just starts laughing. He starts laughing. He's so giddy after Jalen Brunson comes by. You can see it for everything it was worth right now.
To us. After reviewing the play, the out-of-bounds call has been overturned. There is an approximate foul charged to Hart, resulting in Memphis retaining the ball.
Jalen Brunson, get out of the way.
And going the full length of the court. The coach's challenge is successful.
Jalen Brunson made Bill Kennedy giggle.
Yeah, he broke him.
Whatever he was saying. I guess Jalen was saying, what's approximate foul? Because maybe they didn't know that term.
Maybe.
It's the new thing that the NBA has instituted when someone is called, or when a ball is being judged, who it hit off of out of bounds, there is now approximate foul if the person was pushed. Right. And so that can be called. I don't know what Jalen was saying. I can't wait to find out. We got to ask Bill.
It's a good guess. You think he said it? Yeah.
Nah, there's got to be something funnier. That's not super funny, though. I mean, what's an approximate foul, Bill? I mean, I don't know if he'd laugh that hard at that. I just didn't have a better line.
That's just great referee humor right there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
Laugh.
Whatever he said, he broke. Yeah.
I would like to see more players messing with referees during reviews. Unfortunately, it usually comes in an important time of the game, and you probably shouldn't be joking around, but somebody could do a Chappelle Show robot behind them, just passing through.
Yeah, a little armpit fart or something.
There's
something.
opportunities.
Yeah. A little credit card.
Hey, yeah.
Little swipe. Might get a tech for that. I don't know.
Bill is so good. Okay, final nominee here. It's Pistons fans. They released Killian Hayes last year. It's over a year now. Was there for 4 seasons with the Detroit Pistons. He just recently signed with the Brooklyn Nets. Finally got back to the NBA. A 10-day contract. He went back to Detroit to play a game. The Nets visiting the Pistons. And the Pistons fans booed him loudly. They just had a flashback of the 4 years that didn't go well with Killian Hayes at the realm for their team. But I'm giving it to the Pistons fans. I mean, things are going well for the Pistons. They got to boo a guy? I mean, it's heaven. It's heaven in Detroit right now. I just think it was a little low. That's it. I mean, I didn't have great worst of the week nominees here at the end, but I did. I mean, nothing can top Bill Kennedy, the Luka sweat. I just wanted to find one actual one. And actually, thinking of that, I did want to find when a referee sort of stepped under Fred VanVleet, because Fred VanVleet was out for a month. I should say step under. But anyways, Fred VanVleet stepped on a referee after being out a month, came back, and then he hurt the same ankle after stepping on the referee. But there's problems getting NBA clips for us right now.
That's the real worst of the week.
Specifically, the last 24 hours. Bang, it stopped. We used to have such a great website to grab stuff. Anyways, we'll figure it out. But this Pistons one's not bad. It's not bad.
Well, yeah, people were upset.
Yeah, they
people
should
be.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, you get what Pistons fans are doing. Like, Killian Hayes, unfortunately for him, is a representative of those really bad Pistons seasons. Thus, a boo him. But, yeah, Tass makes a good point. Like, it's not really just Killian Hayes' fault, and you are doing well. You know, focus on the positives here. But whatever.
Yeah, they should almost applaud him, you know?
Yeah.
It's not... Well, I mean, it is a little bit his fault.
A little bit.
But it's also Monty Williams' fault for playing him so much. They should be like, it's all right, man. We're over it. We're good now. You're out of here.
Yeah.
You're on our side.
For sure.
Yeah. There were some other ones out there, but anyways, that wraps it up.
I do have one that I'd like to get your ruling
Okay,
on.
sure.
I mean, this is fairly recent. Draymond Green said Thursday that he was just relaying what he had heard when he said on his podcast that Karl-Anthony Towns didn't play for the Knicks against the Warriors recently because Jimmy Butler was in the building. So Green was referencing tensions involving Butler and Cat when they were teammates way back in Minnesota. Butler was seeking a trade back then, and Green was straight up implying that Cat was ducking Jimmy because he didn't want that smoke, I guess.
Yeah, and then he was asked about it post-game yesterday, and he was like, oh, I hadn't heard that. Subscribe to the Draymond Green Show.
Yeah, and heard that, meaning Towns was out for personal reasons, which we later learned was because there was a death of a family friend.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, that's so, what are you doing? I mean, and then wouldn't really apologize.
Not at all.
That's the like, okay, you heard this, you thought you needed to relay this. All right, everybody sort of rolls their eyes at it to begin with because Cat has played Jimmy Butler before.
Lit him up.
Yeah.
44.
So it's like, okay, and this is so long ago. That part's strange. But then when you're told, actually, he didn't play because there was a death in a family friend, maybe just say, oh, sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I shouldn't have said that. That information was wrong. I apologize. But no, he's not doing that.
Oh, worst of the week winner right there.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the backstory there. I knew he was out for personal reasons because I follow the NBA every day and I podcast every day. What about you, Draymond? Do you podcast? You should know that. It's just personal reasons. He's missed multiple games until coming back. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
To echo what a lot of people have said, I do think Draymond Green's pretty solid when he just analyzes basketball and, like, you know, just critiques the game. But, man, when he lets his biases show, be it Cat, be it Rudy Gobert, it's pretty awful then.
Oh.
And it's like, I guess this is the fine line with a podcast, right? It's like, is he the media? I think so. And when you're the media, or at least when he's on TNT, that's sort of unprofessional to go that hard and have your information that wrong. And really, you're just trying to clown the guy and sort of like diminish him. But
I will say though, it's a little like the Killian Hayes scenario. Yeah, you can blame him, but there's somebody else to blame too. Lots of other people in Detroit. You should be blaming the producer of that podcast as well, because it's not a live podcast.
Oh, cut it out.
You can edit it out.
Damn.
The producer should know what's going on.
Yeah.
Do a little research. I mean, we're talking about it because he said it, though, so it is good for the clicks. Unfortunately, all the negative stuff is good for the people talking about it.
Absolutely. And I want to make this clear. I had no issue if Draymond Green actually dislikes Cat or Rudy or any basketball player for that matter. If that's part of the game and you're a hooper, that's fine. But it does get a little clouded to me when you are a part of the media and then you're sort of spewing stuff like that. Like that's just bad. I think unprofessional.
Yeah, and honestly, like, he messed up, okay? He
Right.
blew it with the Cat and Jimmy thing, and given a chance to make it right, he didn't take that chance, which I think is kind of even worse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
All right, good stuff. Let's hear your worst of the week winner out there in the stream team and in the YouTube comments, and tweet at us at No Dunks Inc. Let's get in a little 5-Star Friday review. Yeah.
Hey, let's do it. First Friday of every month, we'll read 5 of your 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts because we love the compliments and we love flying up the rankings. Our first 5-star review. It's titled Back, 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 Back. These guys got me into podcasts back in the starters days, and to see them go from strength to strength has been a privilege. Their analysis, breakdowns, and bits are top tier and already will have a smile on your face. But the way the lads in the factory have me laughing after they get on a roll, either riffing and slamming something funny, like Paul George pausing podcasting, or going on a tangent, anything Tass does, makes me feel like I'm watching the perfect combination of journalism and comedy. Seriously funny and forever a classic. Thank you for that one.
Journalism and comedy.
Do a lot of journalism here.
Yeah. Absolutely working the phones every night.
A lot of sources.
Yeah, burning the midnight oil. Checking in with my sources.
Tass, you got a favorite tangent?
Well, I've got to tip my toilet hat to that review. That was very solid. No favorite tangent. We went over so many great moments yesterday. I mean, Trey, you're ripping off so many
some classic moments,
flashback moments of our show.
Maybe this will be one, Tass. 20 years from now, we'll be talking about the time you hosted a podcast all week from the toilet.
Man,
yeah, Toilet Man.
Yeah,
sure.
yes.
I would say best tangent so far today has been people you see on the Beltline.
Good call.
Now, anytime somebody visits Atlanta, they'll be like, "Ooh, am I going to see Flute Lady?"
That's right.
We shall see. Our next five-star.
Sorry, go ahead.
The Flute Lady writes in, no, do you got game? This one's from Telepod Junior. Skeets, I know you're hating this because the first one didn't have the name.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Sorry.
It's just weird. I don't know. I understand why sometimes they do. Anyways, do you got game? You guys sometimes talk about how y'all play basketball together, and although the show's fantastic, I'm very curious about all your different basketball styles. Who do you think is the no dunks GOAT?
A question we've been asked about 100,000 times.
Yeah, but you gotta update it every year.
Yeah,
you got any new guys? I hate saying I play like Nikola Jokic. The guy's the best player in the world. It was cool when he was not even an all-star to say that. Now I just play like Karl-Anthony Towns, an all-NBA player.
You didn't last night.
Nah.
We were garbage last night. Let's be honest.
The last two games were bad. I lost my legs. I was Karl-Anthony Towns disappearing. Yeah, look, I'll get into foul trouble. I'll do it. Dumb fouls for sure. Big moments, that's my specialty.
Look, yeah, we play basketball. I play with Trey once a week. You play a couple other times. Well, sometimes twice a week, I guess we play. But we had a rough night last night. Like, when we're on the same team, I'm thinking we're never going to lose. We got killed last night.
We lost two at the end.
Like, sort of embarrassingly, though. We just couldn't hit a shot. It was brutal. It was brutal. So,
gotta get my conditioning.
Tass, are you out there on the courts recently?
I played for the first time in a while a couple weeks ago, and somebody actually asked me, "Who do you think you play like?" And I didn't stop yapping. I went into a very deep explanation of why I think I'm like Sean Marion, and I just had to shut myself up. Why am I comparing myself to Sean Marion? Well, he didn't really have a dribble game, same as me.
Right.
I mean, he can put it on the floor a little bit, and I think I can out-hustle guys like Sean Marion did.
I think it's a decent comp.
Yeah, well, it's like what Trey just said about Jokic. I mean, Sean Marion. It's freaking Sean Marion. It's freaking Jokic. I'm hearing a freaking toilet hat. You know, it's an odd comp. But yeah, going back, I want to have a good night. I think I'm Sean Marion.
You should poop in that hat.
I thought you didn't like people who pooped in hats. Who hooped in hats?
I don't. You're right. I can't take you seriously if you're wearing a hat and you're playing basketball.
Just a normal ball cap, not a toilet hat.
A toilet hat. I mean, at least
that would
be
be cool.
Damn, I'd like to get a photo with this guy. But yeah, this baseball hat, no way. I know people do, but I don't think you're good when you do.
It's unusual. I play with a couple of guys who play in hats nowadays. Guy's hat fell off.
Indoor.
I
want to make that clear. Outdoor, I get it.
Backwards hat, I would say 90% of the time.
Yeah.
More for hair management than anything else, I would say.
Okay. Well, there are other things you can use.
Yeah. Shortcut. Who's your player?
I don't know. Who would you think?
I heard you say TJ McConnell once. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, I know. I said that because I was getting told of that and, from the Paris game highlights.
Yeah. Oh, you were also dressed.
I was
like
dressed
TJ
in
McConnell.
a Pacers uniform. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard for me to avoid the TJ McConnell comparison when I'm dressed in full Pacers uniform.
You did look like you were doing a TJ McConnell bit, I guess. Stealing inbounds passes.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Jan Mahimi calling fouls on me left and right. I don't know. You got a better one then?
I've always thought you play like De'Aaron Fox. Speed game.
Yeah, for sure.
You prefer to take
streaky shooter.
More of a mid-range player than a three-point player.
Yeah, that's fair. Though my New Year's resolution was to shoot more threes at our pickup run.
Yeah, you did.
And I have been. didn't go well last night. Should have been using the mid-range last night.
Sometimes you miss.
Sometimes you miss.
It's the game.
You got some Monte Ellis in you. Sorry, I'm flashing back.
Monte Ellis, wow.
Yeah.
Money, I got it all.
I got it all?
You got it all?
All right.
Our next 5-Star Friday review. The basketball podcast almost gave him 4 stars because of a recurring dream in which I run into Skeets, Tess, Trey, JD, and Lee sitting outside Satriali's Deli from The Sopranos. I walk up to say hi and tell them how I've loved their show for years. They respond with some of the meanest, most hurtful things anyone's ever said to me, and I walk away completely defeated. But because this show has been there every step of my journey towards becoming a sicko, I have to give them 5 stars. I'd recommend this show to anyone, regardless of their level of interest in basketball. It's pure fun, and it's top-tier hoops talk.
Wow. He almost gave us a 4-star review because of dreams were assholes to him.
I dreamt you guys were in The Sopranos and mean. You ever get mad at somebody for a dream?
No.
Yeah, same.
No. But you have feelings.
You got feeling,
Yeah.
right?
Do you ever get mad during a dream? Is that the question?
No, like mad at some, like would I ever get mad at you, Task, because I had a dream that you maybe like angered me or something
afterwards.
like that. Yeah, I don't go
no.
that far.
No. Definitely mad during a dream, but not afterwards because of the dream myself.
I did dream the other night that I took my beard off and I was fresh shaven again.
You took it off as just like detachable
No,
or
I shaved it.
shavy?
I shaved it.
Okay.
I shaved it. And it was like, I can't remember if it was well received or not.
You gotta go back to sleep to figure it out.
Yeah, I know.
Man, that's a scary proposition, isn't it? What's your face look like under there now?
Very scary.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I forgot that my mother-in-law printed a blanket with me shaving on it as one of a sort of a bunch of photos printed. I
Yeah.
should have worn that. I look ridiculous.
You without a beard. Yeah,
I never want to be
That's
bare
rare.
naked.
Me, at least, most of our longtime fans know what that looks like. But I've had a beard for almost 6 years.
It's
now.
been a long time.
It's
at
very
this point.
long. Like that's pretty long.
JD, you ever think about shaving your beard?
Never.
Literally never?
Literally never.
I mean, it's been I don't know if I've ever seen you clean shaven. Like
No.
you had like more like a Tass short beard.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Yep.
You've shown us photos before when you were super young. When you don't.
Yeah,
have a beard.
that's
it's
like
whoa.
under 25.
Yeah.
So
So you've had a beard for half your life.
yeah, half my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's living in that beard?
I have no idea what's under there.
Yeah.
Things
I
have
like to
changed.
tell people I look like Ebert after his surgery. So it's like no chin, like literally nothing.
I'd
no
like
offense
to tell
Roger
people
Ebert.
this.
I love to tell them.
Like, what do you look like without your
Thanks
beard?
for asking.
Have you ever seen Roger Ebert after he had his
Yes, wow.
surgery? Yeah, that's
That's what I look like. Oh, then people say keep the beard.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, how fast can you grow that thing back out? Nice easy one. Our next 5-star.
Hold on. Circling back to the review there. Did you take that name off so we didn't go at that person? Because there was no.
No, he's saying
Okay,
sometimes
so-
they're there, sometimes they're not.
Yeah, so sometimes if you write like a short review that's only a couple of sentences long, it stays like you don't have to click read more. And
Yeah,
when
yeah.
that's the case, it
Right.
keeps the information about who posted it.
Oh.
But if it's longer, like our first and our third one, you got to click read more, and then for whatever reason, it doesn't keep that stuff.
Weird.
Mm.
Weird. And we don't know.
Could I
if-
write it down? Yes, but did I? No,
That's extra work.
Yeah, that's
Do we?
ridiculous.
So we don't know what Telepod Senior thinks of our show.
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know.
Okay.
I do want to know what that guy ordered at Satriel's Deli. I'm very interested because that will make me either like him or hate him, depending on what he ordered.
What would be a quality order?
Oh, just order a nice pastrami with a nice mustard. Just the simple one, you know?
Simple.
You know, just a simple deli sandwich. The mustard doesn't have to be too grainy. It's up to you.
Any mustard will do. Great stuff.
Yeah.
5-star Friday.
start.
There's another one.
Great tangent.
Here for a good time and a long time. I've been listening to these guys drop classics for their whole career. I remember when Trey and Lee eventually joined, and now Lee's gone, and I've been inception to have a son named Ellis. I was so pumped when they went and got on NBA TV as the starters, but will forever mourn the loss of the Basketball Jones name. R.I.P. Listening to this group is like talking shop with my buddies, only my buddies aren't so committed to putting out a quality daily podcast. Their takes are good. They remember that the game is supposed to be fun and keep it lighthearted. No dunks transcends generation. Hashtag pun gun forever. Hashtag shout out to Justins.
I didn't know you could do hashtags. in
I
these
don't need
reviews.
I don't think you can click into them to find all the other reviews that say shout out to Justin.
I will say, in you doing all these reviews, I assume a majority of them, if not all of them, coming from Apple Podcasts, right?
These are all Apple Podcasts, but I'm going to other nations.
Okay, that's nice to
Some
know.
of these are from Canada. There's maybe an Australian one in there.
Okay, I like that. I did see on Spotify now, for everybody that listens there, you can comment on episodes. And people are starting to do that. Like within each episode, as if it was its own YouTube comment section. So that's sort of cool. I see people now commenting on things said within that particular episode. So
Hey,
that's cool.
in April, I'll take a look and see if
I'm
we
just
got any
saying.
sweet comments.
I'm just saying.
They don't, no stars though?
Well, you do stars on Spotify, but no review for the show, from what I can tell you.
Okay.
So stars on the show, specific comments to episodes, right?
Okay, how
Sort of
about
weird.
this then? 5-Star Friday will still be the five-star reviews from Apple Podcasts, but we'll have a special dispensation, the star Spotify comment of the month.
My God, love it, love it. Let's make a long segment even longer.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, because we still got 2 more segments after this one. We
sure do.
And I think another review.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we
One
do.
more.
This is number 5. Old and good. While I've been listening to these loquacious lads since their last lingering days in the Great White North, it did not dawn on me how much time has actually passed with such consistent basketball insight, analysis, and LARFs until my 19-year-old son reminded me that the resurgent Detroit Pistons had not won 6 games in a row, now 7, since 2015, when he was 9 years old and we started listening together to the best basketball podcast to ever grace iPods, cell phones, and daily father and son drives to swim practice ever. Taco, the real Greek freak. Steve Nash, the man who makes the magic happen. You brought a father and son closer together. 5 stars indeed. That's from Jason in Detroit, Michigan.
Nice.
Good stuff.
That's a great review.
That is a great
Bringing
review.
a father and son closer together. That's a long time.
Well written.
Yeah.
And a long sentence. That
Yeah.
was a 6-line sentence. But it was well written.
Yeah, you know I had to read more on that one, baby.
Way to go, John.
Awesome. Thank you to everybody for all of these reviews and for all the 5-star ratings and for the YouTube comments and for the subscriptions. We do truly appreciate it. Awesome stuff. All right, pick 'em. Task, where we going? Friday night. You just got the victory last night, right? It was 4.5. You had the Knicks to cover and they lost by 4. So you won there just by the skin of your teeth. But where are we going tonight?
It's weird when lines go into overtime.
Yeah.
It's always strange to me. Either way, we're going to OKC. Should be simple, right? Just pick OKC.
Yep.
They're only favored by 1.5 to the visiting Portland Trailblazers. But no Shea. He's out. Bracket rest. Seriously, I'm not saying that just to say that. He's out because of rest. Jalen Williams, out. Wrist. Isaiah Hartenstein, out. Nasal. Kaysen Wallace, out. Knee. Lou Gens Dort is out because of a patellofemoral. Now, what is that? The patella beside your femur? I don't know. I didn't look it up, but everybody out for OKC.
Yeah.
So I took Portland. I was comfortable doing that because I do think that they put it up. They're very, very, very close to the 10th spot of the Dallas Mavericks. Somebody actually commented and said, hey, don't you think that Dallas is going to essentially lose every game because we talked about Portland potentially making up that gap that they have? It's a 4-game gap, plus they don't have the tiebreaker with Dallas, so it's 5 games.
Yeah.
We're here, though. I thought Anthony Davis would be coming back. It is 2 weeks since they announced his adductor injury. He's supposed to be reevaluated today. He's missed 7 games, but he is not playing today versus Memphis, although Caleb Martin might make his debut.
Hey.
Just so you know. And Phoenix is in between Dallas and Portland. And they're losing tonight, as I said. They're going into Denver. So it is a race for the 10th spot. It really is a race.
Yeah, it sucks for Portland that they have no games left against the Dallas Mavericks.
That would be helpful.
That would be nice, because then you could win that and you gain a game like that. But yeah, they've already played their series and they lost it 3-1. So like Tess said, the tiebreaker goes to Dallas. That's why it's unlikely that they catch them. But I'm going OKC still. I mean, I know they're missing all their main guys, but guess what? They have a lot of really
They got a
talented
lot of
guys.
good
on the bench.
guys.
Yeah, they're going to get an opportunity. So
Yeah.
the line that small, I think.
A lot of
still
depth.
win.
AJ
It's been
Mitchell.
playing great, though.
Yeah, they have been.
Yeah.
They have been, yeah. Chet, questionable. So
Yeah.
I guess we get the big Jalen Williams starting, I assume.
Yeah, he was on fire last game. See if he can keep it going. All right, so Tass, the only one taking Portland, everybody else taking OKC. All right, let's end this drop podcast with some rapid fire fun. Toilet Man Tass has the questions. We got the answers.
Steph Curry had a dunk this week. He said it's his last one. He's done. When was a time that you knew it would be your last time doing something? Skeets.
Circa 2005, I, for the final time, myself, with the help of some friends, moved myself into an apartment. And I said, no more. That's done. I'm going to make enough money to pay someone to do it. And true to my word, I haven't done it since. So around 2005, it was the first time I moved in with Nora to an apartment together. And then obviously we moved to other apartments, both in Toronto and here in Atlanta, and eventually our house. And I didn't pick up a single box.
That's nice, man.
That's actually
nice.
a lie. I did pick up a lot of
course.
boxes and did the pre-move before the real move.
Yeah, exactly.
But not moving couches and beds and stuff.
That's smart.
Yeah.
One of my worst moves ever was moving from one apartment in the same complex to one like 4 doors down. I'm like, this will be simple.
Oh, those are the worst.
So bad. You do because you ain't hiring somebody for that one.
No.
Right.
2 men in a truck, stay home. It was bad. For me, last time I knew I was doing something that was gonna be my last time was the 2024 All-Star Game, because I went to the 2023 All-Star Game and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah,
I am
you were
not
angry.
coming back
Yeah.
to Indianapolis. But then they went back to basketball. I was like, I gotta give one last chance.
They tricked you.
One last chance. And one team scored 211 points. And I was like, never again. And then you saw what happened with the All-Star Game this year. Will I open my heart to another production crew next year? No.
So you're saying you are flying home on Sunday.
Always.
You're not going to stay for the game.
Yeah. This year we didn't even fly out.
Okay, can I ask you something? What if they say, All-Star Game, get out of here. We're done with it. We're doing a one-on-one tournament on Sunday night. Will Trey Kirby stay for that? Ooh,
baby.
okay, there you go, Silver.
I'll say I will gladly miss a classic All-Star Game or one-on-one competition and then go the next year. But you got to prove it.
You
got to
prove it.
Yeah.
You got to win me back.
You got to win me back.
Okay. I'm probably with you. They've been so bad.
We're getting closer.
Honestly, I remember, when we were grinding our way up, it was, so cool to get to go to the All-Star Game.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I couldn't believe that older people would leave on Sunday. I'm like, are you a real fan? You sell out! And now I get it. Now I totally get it. It's the worst part of the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, and you're tired by then.
Yeah.
Want to get home to some extent. Yeah, look, no, I get you. I can't believe I'm with you. I'm even considering it. You're gonna do it. I'm considering it. Wow. Now this year we didn't even go, so it was not even a part of the equation.
Simple decision.
JD, you called it years ago, right? You stopped. You stopped going to Sunday night.
I mean, the last
Many
time I
years
was
ago.
at the game was when we were doing a show from the baseline, or we were on the floor for the show.
Oh,
that was
Bradley
in the
Beal.
starters. It was Bradley
was a long
Beal was
time
there.
ago.
Fergie performed.
Yep. That was the last time. And I was in the bowels in the media room anyway. I didn't see a single moment of the game.
Right.
So I was just trying to organize our crew.
Okay.
Fun times.
What's your answer, JD? A time you just knew. That was your last time.
Rachel was giving birth to our youngest son, Jackson, and it was a C-section, and she had a C-section before with Lincoln. And I never dared to peek over the curtain with Lincoln because, gross, her guts hanging out all over the place. I don't need to see that. I was actually actively encouraged not to look over the curtain. But with this time, I knew this was probably it for us. And if I want to see my baby come out of his mother, I would have to peek over the curtain. And the anesthesiologist is like, huh? Because she's standing next to me, and it's like, this is it. Here it comes.
Go.
And so I peeked over that curtain.
You knew that would be the last time
And it was
ever.
the last time ever. And it was awesome.
Okay.
Somehow, you're human. I don't know if it's your psyche, but all I saw was the baby. You know what I mean? It was laser focused, and it was
That's cool.
it was like one of those Zoom meetings where everything is just sort of
the
blurred
background's
out.
all blurred. Yeah.
Very emotional, and I'm glad I did it. And that's it.
I thought you were gonna say I peeked over. It was disgusting, but I said, not as bad as me without a beard.
That's right.
Yeah. I didn't know which direction you were going.
No, it was great. But weird how your brain just sort of blocks out what you don't want to see.
Sure.
There was I could tell there was gore happening behind, though. You know what I mean? It's pretty extreme, the C-section.
Oh, yeah.
indeed.
Yes, we should stop here. It is
let's do
very
that.
extreme. It is very extreme. Next question here. Sandro Mamukelashvili is the only NBA player that you can spell slam dunk from the letters in his name. That's a fact from Jay Kuda on X. Shout out to you, Jay.
That's amazing.
Mamukelashvili is also a hard name to spell. What's a word you find hard to spell? Skeets.
Mischievous.
Ooh, yeah.
What's going on with this word? You could tell me there's 3 I's in it. One in the beginning, one in the middle, one in the end, but that'd be wrong. You could tell me that there's just 1 I off the top, like near the top. Okay. M-I-S, and then the rest without an I, but that'd be wrong. How about 2 I's? But not one in the middle. What? No, I mean, it's insane. It's insane. It's M-I-S-C-H-I-E-V-O-U-S. But again, I throw 3 I's in it. I sometimes get rid of one of them. Trey's like perplexed. I'm watching Trey trying to figure it out.
I'm like, you're sure there's not 2 I's?
No, there are 2 I's. But
I think I would have thought one beginning, one at the end as well.
no, it's
Like
real. I would say it's more one at the beginning, one in the middle of the word, and not one at the end.
yeah.
Where you think it's I, you would think it's I-O-U-S, but it's not. It's a V-O-U-S.
Wow.
Because you think it's like envious or something.
Yes,
This is the problem with this word. The English language, man, it's insane.
But I think isn't like the mess up here that it's pronounced mischievous, not mischievous.
Hey, that's a problem as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a
you're
brutal
adding
word.
an I pronunciation-wise.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
that is a tough one. That's that's tough. That's why I just say you're being bad. Or nutty. N-O-T-T-Y, nutty.
This is great. Geeking it up is great. Trey, what's a hard word you find?
For me, it's the word I went out on in a 3rd grade spelling bee, monstrosity.
Ooh, that tough one, man. Yeah.
I typed it into my Word document and it auto-corrected. Still not a C-I-T-Y at the end. It's an S.
It's an S, yeah.
Yeah.
Monstrosity.
Curveball.
You were in grade 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Big
It's a
word.
tough
Big
word
word
for
for
grade
grade 3. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, not that hard.
No.
Monstro, easy. City, you.
I want to know so badly. Did a young Trey Kirby say it with such bravado, like you thought you were nailing it?
I didn't. I didn't think I was
okay,
nailing
okay,
it.
okay.
But I do remember my friend Tim went out for whatever reason on his word, and he just goes rats, which I thought was hilarious. Misspelled mischievous. Oh, rats.
Were you doing the whole? Can you use it in a sentence? Are there any other pronunciations for the word?
No, I just like
No.
to catch a vibe spelling wise. I don't need that information. How's that gonna help? That'll just confuse me.
Just seems like they're delaying they're delaying up there. But
they're
they're
trying to
so
think.
smart, these kids too. They're like, they have all the tricks and everything
Yeah,
to
they
like
know.
how to
They
actually
know.
get to the word. So,
Yep.
JD, what's a word you find hard to spell?
Well, Tass, maybe it's because you've been sitting on a toilet all week, but diarrhea. Really have a hard time spelling it. I know there's an H in there.
yeah.
There's
How many R's?
2 R's.
Yeah.
D-I-A-R-R-H-E-A. No I. Like, I expect there to be like a I-A, you know?
the
like
end.
diarrhea. But it's actually E-A.
Yeah.
Anyways, diarrhea, man. Hard to spell.
Hard
Hard to deal with
to
a
get
lot of
through
ways,
and hard
yeah.
to spell.
Yeah. I think of the name Rhea. R-H-E-A. No, I
That's
don't.
a great tip.
It's
Great
great,
tip, man.
great diarrhea tip.
Unfortunately, if your name is Rhea, that's not something you want to hear.
Yeah, that's a face palmer. All right, Skeets.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. I've been sitting on a toilet talking about basketball for a week. When's the time you had a unique or embarrassing experience on a toilet?
I believe I've shared this story before, but I started the Teardrop Half Marathon in Chatsworth, Georgia. The race started and I was on the porta potty. I was in there. It was a real miscommunication with the race director of when the hell this thing was starting. They said they were waiting on another bus because this is a race that starts at the top of a hill and is predominantly downhill. And it's like, okay, I'm like, well, I got tons of time. The bus isn't here yet. Then they gotta unload the bus. So like, okay, this is perfect. Usually at the start of a race, the lineups for porta potties are crazy. Right. It's always early in the morning. People got to get out their morning poops. Race nerves. You're trying to drink a lot of water. You got to pee a lot. Everybody, they're always insane. But because we were getting very close to the start, everybody was now waiting to start. So I was like to my buddy Jared, I was like, well, I'm just going to go use it now. We're not starting for another couple minutes, and I'm in and out, man. It's
Yeah,
no
you're
problem.
fast.
Yeah. But I went in there
You're fast.
doing my
Yes.
business, and I hear bang the gun. I'm like, holy crap! So I got to finish up, and then it was so funny. Jared said like he can look back because the race starts and he starts running, and you could just see me like burst out of the porta potty, and like I just sprinted to the front. I checked my time. I did really well, despite starting behind a couple
Maybe
seconds.
that's
So
the
pretty funny.
secret.
yeah, it was super light, I guess.
Yep.
Flying out the door.
Toilet paper like behind me. Going like crazy.
Go, streamers.
So yeah, that's my story with the toilet test.
People definitely have stains on their pants when they run, right? Or shorts. Like they just go.
People crap themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
You ever done it?
No.
Too bad.
I don't think I could do that. I could pee my pants in a marathon if I was really like committed to a time, but I don't think I could crap myself. In fact, I know I couldn't. There's no way.
You couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
I mean, like, could I do it? Yeah, but I would not want to do it.
We got to follow you at the Boston Marathon next month, right? You're going to
Yeah, I am running Boston. You're right. Thanks for
go.
reminding
There
me.
we go.
produce that.
I'm not excited about it.
Oh, that's too bad.
I'm not at all. I've had a horrible training session. I'm like, whatever. I've paid money to go do this thing now. I'm doing it with my buddy Jared and Kyle with the Hawks.
Okay.
So that'll be fun.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll have a fun weekend. I've enjoyed Boston when I've been there. This will be my third time. I'm just praying it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
Right.
The 2 times I've run it, it's rained. It sucks. It's cold. It's not fun. So hopefully it doesn't rain, and then maybe I'll have a blast.
Yeah. Or a blast out. Down the back. Something exciting to look forward to. Try something new this year.
I'll try. Yeah.
We talked about Draymond Green in his podcast. What he needs to do a segment on is get Jimmy Butler on and ask him about that yellow stain he had.
Yeah.
Since he joined the Golden Stain Warriors, he had a yellow stain on during a game. What happened?
We never got to the, excuse the pun, bottom of that, did
No.
we? No.
No.
Hey. No. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Okay.
So let's get on it. All right, Trey.
Joel Embiid once had a real Perlman incident before a Sixers game. Before a Sixers playoff game, we had a show on the starters the next day. I had bubble guts. Immediately before the show, as if it were a marathon starting, I had to go do the show. And I remember I lined my pants with paper towels
Oh my
from the bathroom because I was like, I don't know what's going on back there.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I got some thoughts on Joel Embiid. Let me tell you, it's hard to play through this.
Okay, JD, live television. This
Yeah.
man shits himself.
Yeah.
What are you doing as a producer,
What am I doing?
director? Yeah. Go to break.
No. No. I haven't yet. Well, you know, the
ISO Trey Curry, camera 4.
exactly. He just shit himself. Zoom in. No. This crew had very specific instructions to shoot everything, no matter what happened. If somebody
Right.
falls down, I want to see them fall
Yeah.
down. So they would absolutely stay on. Carlos would run over to that stationary camera and whip it around to
Yeah.
see, to see Trey Kirby run out of the,
my
you know,
God.
with
Limp
the
out.
whole, yeah, because you got to
Turn your mic off.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily, I think I got everything out pre-game.
Yeah, you were
because I don't
fine.
know what I would have done. Like,
Probably would have left.
sorry,
the set, right?
sorry, you guys got B block.
Yeah, you must. You would have to.
I'm doing the D block myself.
Yeah, you just left.
See
yourself
see,
out.
where's Trey? Oh no, he's just gone. No reason.
Oh, that's Matt's whole thing. Like at any party, like that you don't want to go to, or any
Right.
event, just
Yeah.
say you have diarrhea.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You gotta go
very
or
true.
don't come.
Gotta
Yeah,
go.
nobody's gonna follow up with that.
All right, so it looks like this happened for Joel Embiid May 7th, 2019. So probably like May 8th show.
Wow.
Yeah, you might be able to hear some crinkling from the background.
Were you wearing your white pants?
It's a possibility, JD. I gotta look into it.
All right.
We've definitely had crew members on the starters leave, like, I have to shit, and then they leave their camera.
Wow.
I'll tell you who after.
Just wait.
Wow.
Can't wait.
BTS behind the shit. Can't wait to hear it.
Behind the shits. Yes,
All right.
exactly.
JD, when's the time you had a unique or embarrassing experience on a toilet?
I once had to hold a guy who just got out of jail up. He was in a wheelchair, and he asked me. He was this sort of drunk biker guy, and he asked me. I was working at the Hard Rock Cafe, and he asked me to help him into the restroom.
Yeah.
No, there were no handicapped
Stalls.
or anything. And then he asked me to hold him up while he peed at the urinal.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, he went to the urinal.
He went to the urinal, yeah. So
you're holding him from behind.
I was holding him from behind.
Why
yeah.
didn't he sit down? Oh, because
He
couldn't
couldn't
even
get into
in.
the.
Oh,
yeah,
I see,
it was
I see.
easier for me to hold him up. So
Yeah.
that was like.
You went waist. You picked
Like
him up
under
and
his
held him-
shoulders.
Oh, under his
We're
shoulders.
talking like
yeah.
he was
So-
like probably in his 50s. He literally got out of jail that day. Like he's a
Wow.
biker guy, and it's just like hold me, man.
You didn't know him though.
Never met him.
Never met him.
And it was just like
What type of tip do you get for that?
nothing. It wasn't even my customer. It was like I was just walking by. Anyway, I was happy to help, but also it was one of the more awkward experiences I've had. So, yeah.
Very
Great.
unique.
And I helped him back into the wheelchair,
Yeah.
and then he left. And then we had to cut him off, and he was very belligerent. 'Cause, hey, he just got out of jail. What did he do? I have no idea. But
Public urination.
we got that a lot. We got the, yeah, probably.
Great.
You got that a lot? A lot of people that just got out of
Well,
jail and going to the Hard Rock?
Yeah, well, because in the early days,
That's all they're talking about in the pen? Can't wait to get out of here, go to the Hard Rock.
100%.
This guy there will help me piss.
Well, it was kind of like a biker bar in the early days. Then these guys would get locked up. They're bikers, right? Then they get locked up, do a couple of years, they get out.
Got to go find the
And
crew.
that was sort of like it got bought by the Hard Rock International, so it was not kind of a family spot. But these bikers would roll up, it's like, I'm going straight to the Hard Rock. I gotta know my seat at the bar, blah blah blah.
Right.
And then they'd be like, "Whoa, what's
They're like,
happening here?"
"Whoa."
It's like, all right, well. Anyway, that's it.
Great stuff. I had a long discussion with Danielle as to whether I should ask you guys this question.
Oh, this is a great one.
Yeah, it worked out well. I added a toilet or a bathroom to give you guys an out. You know, you'd make a random bathroom story, but I'm glad we just went with toilet.
Pure toilet.
Do you have one, Tass?
Yeah.
Besides
Here it
this?
is. Here it is. I'll save it.
Okay.
I'll save it for another. It's not a good tangent. It's not a good toilet tangent.
It's not a good tangent. We're just talking for 20 minutes about
That's a good call.
toilets, and you're
Well-
sitting on a toilet with a toilet hat.
Well,
now's the time,
The
man.
question is for you three.
He'll save it when
This
we're
is not
talking
for
about
me.
the Blazers Suns game, and Tass will suddenly start telling us the story.
Blazers Suns.
Yeah, save it. You should save it.
Save it. You're right. We're running long here.
Yeah, we are.
Let's get off the can.
You have a Pope-like look today. I feel like.
He's got the blanket. Yeah.
Right? Like with the blanket. It looks like it would be long robes and the tall hat.
Now,
Looks good.
can you be honest with me, Tass?
I just watched that Pope movie on
Conclave?
Peacock Conclave.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, because Peacock, you had to get Peacock to watch SNL. So now I'm watching things to get my month subscription in.
Yeah,
Got to do it. Yeah, it was all right.
I was going to ask you as you wrap up your pick 'em loss here. The reason you are wearing the blanket is because you're cold and not because you accidentally put on thong underwear today or something like that, right? You're like, whoops.
Well, for a couple of reasons. I'm actually very hot right now. I did it for effect, more so than anything. I also got to take something out of my frunk, which I have in my frunk that I never use. Yeah, I'm one of those stubborn people that has something there just in case of an emergency, and I just was so happy to use it for something.
Wait, what?
What's a
That's the
frunk?
blanket?
Is that a front trunk?
Front trunk?
Yeah.
Is that what you have? Yeah.
Courtesy Elon Musk. You got an electric car, no engine in the front. It's a frunk. And now I'm sweating. I'm sweating under here. If I had, I kind of wish I had what Trey had, just wrapped myself with toilet paper underneath here. Just in case. But all good. All good. And those would be extremely sweaty right now.
Now, did you commit to the bit? Like, I imagine, are your pants still around your ankles?
I think
Yeah,
they were.
of course.
Yeah.
Can you get a
See,
shot?
this
You can
is,
zoom. I thought you could zoom down.
I thought you could zoom down.
This is commitment.
That's a pan.
Yeah, that is
This
fascinating.
is commitment. That's what I'm talking
You
about.
tilted. That tilted down, of course. That's great remote.
All right. Well, great job all week long.
PTZ, baby.
Paying off the pick 'em loss. That's one for the ages. Toilet Tass and the toilet hat on the toilet all week long, giving his basketball takes and all his tangents as he always does. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, podcast listeners. 5-star ratings and reviews. We're back on Monday. Everyone back here in the Classic Factory, sitting at the desk, talking about the winners and losers of the NBA weekend. Tons of games on, so we'll be breaking that down. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, I got nothing right now. Oh, I checked. We've got a few more reviews I want to go through. First one, it's a long one, so hang on. This guy mentions.
Sounds like
Just kidding.
Trying to squeeze on the dump there while you're doing it.
Nah, I had nothing.
Embrace the weekend, people.